All right, welcome back, everybody. We are back by popular demand with our updated toxic tier list of the Digituber community. These are personal thoughts and opinions on how well of a player I think each individual Digituber is and where their value lies in their viewing. So, in someone who is in the educational tier is just that. If you watch their videos, you will probably learn something new. Um, and you will gain some sort of value. A decent player is someone who might at some point give you some decent tips and tricks, has had some toppings in some events, is usually just that, a decent player. Meh is like if you saw them competing, you'd be like, well, they're not going to top, but they play a lot. Bad is bad, and IQ reducing is saved for a couple special digitubers who do just that. When you watch them, you will come out knowing less about the game or have incorrect information, and there's a special place reserved in the Dark Ocean for these people. So we're going to start off with Battle Ready Inc. I feel like he's a pretty decent player. Um, I haven't. I actually no. By my own category, I have to put him in meh because he's never going to top an event, but he does have some interesting takes on some decks. I don't always agree with his deck choices, but he also gives a pretty decent insight into why he does certain things. Card Protagonist is in educational because of that. His videos are about as real as the WWE, but you can learn some stuff from it. You will see the decks that he uses. You'll see them perform in their most optimal way. You will see decks, hit the G5 off the top rope on their opponent and run straight into a Seto Kaiba trap card. So it's both entertaining and educational. Once you understand the core concepts of the game, you can learn how a deck that you're looking to play will run optimally if you view a video of his. Donkey Nog is going to be in meh. Plays a lot, but I've never seen him top. He's pretty meh. DPP is a decent player. Um, I would put him in educational if his videos weren't covering the JP scene. So their meta tends to be incorrect because it's best of one, and deck lists tend to be a lot different than they are in the US. So I wouldn't, if you want to know information about future metas, it's worth watching. And he covers a lot of different players and a lot of different decks, but don't take it to heart because some of the mechanics will change or and interactions might be different as far as building for a best of two versus a best of one. Um, and they get cards in different intervals than we do, so decks can change. Gaia Force Gaming, we will put them in decent player. Uh, you know, they have tops to their names. They always give pretty decent deck profiles and build theories, and they've got a really good camp that they train with. Huang Zero, we put him in educational because he has a long history with the Digimon community, giving out good information, good ideas, pulling from the community, so it's not just his own arrogance getting in the way or things like that. It is definitely something that you can watch and definitely come out better for. He's put out a lot less videos here recently, so that might bring him down a peg in future videos, but right now he definitely sits in the educational tier. Lewis the Panda, um, I would put him in meh, but a lot of people believe that he is a decent player. I just don't like his videos personally. I don't like his commentary. Sometimes it feels very uneducated or in I don't want to say inaccurate because he's never wrong, but I feel like it comes from the opinion of a very aloof player versus someone who is in the game, and that kind of rubs me the wrong way during his videos. But he is seen by the Digimon community as a pretty good player. Mario Gaming has moved down to the meh. He has had tops, but his recent affiliation with certain others and his certain attitudes and deck building theories that he's posted, I'm assuming just for content value, are absolute ass. Putting certain cards in decks that makes absolutely no sense. Just throwing decks out for basically the memes or just for the content. Basically copy and pasting the same deck and then calling it different or including cards that make no sense. Primitive, I think his logo's technically changed, but it's primitive. He is a decent player. He has had tops. He has educational decks. He's pretty decent at the game, I would say. So I would say he's a pretty decent player. Ride My Avatar is an IQ reducing. You will be dumber if you watch this man. He will pop out from underneath his camera thinking he's Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. And, it will sound like you're arguing with someone who doesn't have a clear understanding of the English language. If you watch his videos, he will stumble through words. He will mispronounce things, which, whatever. If you're not scripting, that's fine. You're doing it live, that's fine. The issue is when you don't understand the basic concepts of the game and you can't read the text that is on the card in front of you. If he tells you it does something and you believe it does, you believe him, you will probably be wrong. He will give you incorrect information. He doesn't read. He doesn't scroll in community Discord tabs to get information. He just likes to toot away about it. Um, Absolute bottom. And if you watch him and this is your only exposure to the Digimon community, I am sorry. This is Taste of Victory. I think he's pretty meh. Um, Pretty middling reviews. Um, I don't know of any tops, and I don't think he's won any. Uh, and I don't think his deck profiles are too great. Definitely above Mario. I'd probably put him like here. Yeah, I guess if I was ordering these, it'd probably be like nah, 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 this, and then we'll do it like this. The Eggman is educational. He doesn't really do a whole lot of gameplay videos, but he does cover pretty much the entirety of our current meta. So if you want to know what deck lists are topping and the cards that those players used, he's definitely like the ESPN news source of the Digimon community. So I definitely would recommend utilizing it. True Champion Steven is a bad player. Um, just absolute bad. He's got a bad attitude. His association with Mario has actually brought him down, and I assume his game theory is getting into Mario's head and is bringing his deck profiles down because this man is an absolute moron when it comes to the game and is only good when he utilizes other people's ideas or meta whores his way through something. And I'm not saying that net decking or metaing is bad, but when you talk about your own originality and how techy you are, he openly said on his channel that he doesn't do box openings because he doesn't believe in it or spend money. He only buys singles, and now he does box openings because that's what the channel wants. So when you pander to your audience and completely go against something you said that you believe in, that automatically brings you down. You're a bad player. You're a bad influence on the community, and the fact that your only value to this is the fact that you have one of the highest videos viewed to intro players upsets me. Wasi plays educational, but the absolute bottom of educational because he doesn't understand the way the actual game works, but he does bring news. So if you want to know like what card reveals are happening, and you want to see them translated, you could watch his channel. But if you want to know how they're going to affect the meta, do not watch this person. Um, you know what? Actually, no. We're going to move him down to IQ reducing. Um, because you will be incorrect about interactions, card text, things like that if you just listen to his videos because he doesn't understand the actual way the game works. Same with Zenitsu. Zenitsu is another one that you will come out not knowing about the game and have less information or incorrect information than your opponent. I will put Wasi at the top though, and then we will order it like this, because Zenitsu I think tries and I would assume works very hard on his deck choices, but they're just incorrect. And he doesn't understand the way Digimon interactions work, the way options work. He believed that when you played Agumon X Antibody, you could search for another Digimon with X Antibody in its traits, not the option. He didn't understand that interaction, and he proliferated that information. Him and a few others proliferated that information to the Digimon community, which caused turmoil in pre-releases, as well as the beginning of the meta when people were just going off of what they had heard, just like you would, with your local news channel. That's where you get your information of the way your community works. It was kind of the same thing. This Digimon tuber who is supposed to be giving you correct information gave you incorrect information, but you didn't know it, and that's not fair to the community. So these two will actively make you worse at the game. This one will give you card reveals, but will probably give you wrong information. He is an absolute bad player, and in my opinion, is actually a negative to the game. Mario used to be, I would put him up in educational or decent player. He has had tops. He understands the way the card market works, but I think he collaborates too much with this man, and that is causing him and his deck theory and his building to go down. Donkey Nog, he will sit in the meh until I see him top. Tasty, I think maybe I don't know. Maybe it's his own ego. I'm not real sure, but there's something. And these two play together as well. But I haven't really. These two just don't impress me. Battle Ready Inc. I could berate him for his terribly long intros about coffee and Etsy and his flea market story runs off of his back porch, I assume. But that doesn't say anything about him as a player. I think he's a pretty decent player, but he hasn't had tops to, he hasn't had appearances in upper echelons of play, which keep him down here in the meh by definition. These are the decent players. Luis is here strictly because I believe the community thinks so. I disagree, but you know, I think the community believes he belongs here. DPP is really good for covering the meta and gameplay interactions. It's just JP meta, so it might not always be accurate to the current. Primitive has had tops. He has had regional wins, things like that. He's becoming more of a mainstream force, collaborating with different other Digitubers that are probably on this list and creating content. And I think he's a pretty decent player. Guy Force Gaming, same thing. They have a really good training camp. Tyler, the person who runs it, is had tops. He performs. He gives good deck theories. So I would put him there. The Eggman, definitely educational because he gives you all the information about your meta. Huang Zero, while is kind of disappearing from the Digituber scene from what I have seen from his video postings, his videos are always high quality. He always gives good commentary on why or how things work. So I would definitely recommend him if you're trying to understand the game. And then Card Protagonist, again, while scripted and for entertainment purposes, if you want to see how decks work optimally and in specific interactions, it's definitely something that you can watch and you won't be worse off. This has been my toxic tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one.